Okay, it is March the 24th, 2026 at 3:30 p.m. I am going to do an In the Skies video article on the fly because we're getting close to the end of the month and it's all in here anyway. So, April 2026 In the Skies video article for you. So we're going to start out April, and of course April the 1st, the sun is already in Aries, and it will be in Aries until the 20th of April. So the sun shines on what is happening at that time for what the sign is. So Aries is the god of war. So the sun will shine on possibility of things having to do with war, with fighting, military, self and selfishness, ego, things having to do with I am, me, mine, and that's going to be kind of difficult because that Aries energy wants to be acknowledged, and that is totally fine. When other people are not taken into consideration during that time, that's where the problems lie. The whole point is Aries is about coming up with ideas. And a lot of Aries people that I've worked with over time has said to me, Miss Kim, why can't I finish anything? I'm an Aries. And I'm like, no. Aries is the idea person. They come up with ideas. They're very creative. And the next sign starts to bring it down to earth, which is Taurus. And then the communication comes through Gemini, and it goes all the way across the zodiac until this grounds and manifests. So this is a great time to come up with pioneering ideas. It is a great time to set yourself apart from other people with your fabulous ideas. It is a good time to work solo, alone, so that people can see your talents. If you work within groups, that could be a challenge because you may blend in when you're not wanting to blend in. So that's something that needs to be addressed. Be okay with not being a part of the group. And if it's something that you have, an issue with, that you don't want to work by yourself, maybe this is a time for you to look into why that is. And to be okay with being a lone wolf. But the one thing that I want to tell you is that ego battles will be something that will play out, on a small scale with people, all the way up to the largest scales. It is not the most safe time to go into environments that are already questionable. So just be aware of that. So then we're going to go and check out later in the month, the 21st of April till the end of the 30th. That is when things ground and get a little bit more calm. Things having to do with good food, things having to do with beautification, things having to do with your possessions, banking, real estate, love, but not the kind of love that is passionate. It can be passionate, but it's also grounded. It's interested in giving you security. It's a kind of love that says, I'm going to take care of you, and I'm going to make sure that the things that you need are available to you because that's how I love you. So then we're going to move over and check out Mercury. So for the first up until the 16th of April, it is going to be in Pisces. So sometimes when Mercury is in Pisces, it's wanting to talk about feelings. It's wanting to talk about the flow of life. It is living by its instincts and its intuition, and it talks about that. It wants to talk about esoteric knowledge. It wants to think about possibilities that's out there that we really don't have proof about at this point. It is more inclined to allow things that are possibilities to be more in the forefront than things that are tangible. And it will superimpose goodness over things or glaze over so we can't completely see. On the negative aspect of that, it is a time where people can be a little bit dishonest or a lot. And of course, things having to do with alcoholism, drug addiction, and hey, pharmaceutical stuff now being pushed just like any other, to be abused. So those things could be in focus until around the 15th of April, and then we have Mercury going to Aries. War-making tendencies verbally. You want to fight? You came to the right place. During that time, the 16th until the 30th, people's tongues fly a little bit more than they should. People may be more aggressive than they need to be, and just keep that in mind when you're talking to somebody and they're popping off at you. You can either say, I'm going to engage with this, or I know what this is and I'm going to let this pass. So just know that people may get a little bit more aggressive verbally at that time, and the topic could be aggression in other ways, or the topic of war, and more people being dragged into something. So then it's nice because at the beginning of April up until the 24th, we have a nice Venus in Taurus. That is beautiful. It's artistic. Spend your time making things in life beautiful instead of destroying things. There's sweetness in life that we need to hold on to right now instead of looking at everything that's on fire and planting things. Remember, Taurus rules real estate, but it also rules the earth. It's earthy. Put beautiful things in the ground. Draw beautiful things. Listen to beautiful music. Offset this aggressive energy, this war-making energy, with something fabulous. And also, it's a good time to redecorate and buy clothes. So just as an addendum there, then we might notice that things lighten up around the 25th to the 30th, because Venus is going to go in Gemini. It goes through the mind. I will love you through my mind. Your intellect is beautiful, and that is what makes me love you. That is what the tone of that kind of Venus is. It needs to be stimulated intellectually before it can love through the heart. So that'll be a thing that will, probably motivate a lot of people. It's not a bad thing. So we got Mars in Pisces from the 1st of April until around the 10th of April. Remember, if you're feeling fire in your body or burning, particularly in your feet, that is because it's in Pisces, and that's things having to do with your foundation in life may not be exactly the way they need to be. But then Mars is going to go into Aries, and along with having that sun in Aries, this is such a time that we have to be so careful from the 10th until the 30th, because that aggressive energy. Not only that, men will be in focus at that time. Brothers also will be something that is in focus. But when you have a sun and you've got Mars in Aries, you have to know that the ego and the drive is something that really needs to be tempered. Impatience is a thing. And also in a car, you have to be very careful driving, because impulsiveness and impatience are things that you do not want to mess around with. So we've got our Mars taken care of. So Jupiter, yay, in Cancer, calm it down. So with Jupiter in Cancer, things having to do with the home, things expanding the home, things that wherever Jupiter is how we make things bigger. So if somebody's a jerk, they're a bigger jerk. So think about it. It's not in the sign of jerk, so don't worry. But Jupiter is going to be in that sign of the mother. You know, Cancer's the mother. And so expanding things with the mother, expanding mothering, expanding things with the home, expanding things with food and nurturing. So all this other stuff might be going on around us, but we can bring peace and harmony into our homes and remember what is important, which is that nurturing aspect, mothering ourselves if we don't have a mother anymore, mothering our children, mothering other people's children, because there's a lot of children who have parents who are doing other things, and sometimes you find yourself mothering other people, you know, because they don't have that. So that'll be a thing at that time. So Saturn is going to be in Aries all of April 2026. Lessons around war-making tendencies, lessons around the ego, lessons around pride, lessons around me, I am, lessons around selfishness, lessons around not thinking about other people and putting yourself first. This is going to be an interesting month, but it can be worked, and I'll show you how to do that in just a little bit. Uranus is going to be in Taurus until the 27th of April. So here's an interesting thought. You know, the markets have been going all over the place, and things having to do with real estate, that will start to subside, and things may go wonky with communication afterwards. So or any type of communications. So that's something that we need to look at. And so that looks like it's going to be around the 27th. So after you get the markets kind of calm down and the real estate kind of calm down, then comes our ability to communicate. Could be sporadic or strange in some way that's either too much or not enough. So we have to figure what that's going to look like. And then we've got that beautiful Neptune in Aries at that time, which means don't not see yourself for who you really are. You may have a really high opinion of yourself with that Neptune in Aries, and we fall down and find out what we're really like. So just don't put yourself up so much on a pedestal that you're unrecognizable to who you really are. I know what I look like without makeup. I know what my flaws are, but sometimes we don't want to look at those things. And sometimes those very flaws that we have are the very things that give us the power to do what we need to do to press through. So it's not necessarily always terrible. Pluto in Aquarius, please take care of your nervous system. Please take care of your vagus nerve. Think about ways of resetting a very nervous body through yoga. Channel your energy and don't let all this Martian energy harm you or cause you to overreact, because it'll cost you more. One moment of an ego can cost you more than you know. Sometimes we need to bring ourselves to the brink of that so that we can go ahead and do what we need to do. But then there are times that there's regret. I'm sure if there's a gigantic mushroom cloud that's over many things in this world right now, there's regret that comes with it. So we have to say to ourselves, is this worth a mushroom cloud that will wipe everything out? Or are we going to use this energy to propel it in a different way? So we're going to be asked a lot of questions for our In the Skies in April 2026 about how we use our energy and what we want to build. Because Aries is the beginning of a pioneer. New things that we come up with that we can execute, and then people say, what a great idea, let's build on that. So come up with some brilliant ideas. This morning I love to drink tea, and that's where my name, Miss Kim's Tarot and Tea Room, because some of the great readers would do tea leaf readings. But the whole idea of tea rooms, because women get together and chat and come up with ideas, and they share food and drink, and it's a special time because they make it special with the food and the company. And there's a place in Wilmington that I saw that has a tea room, and I was super excited, and I'm certainly going to frequent and go there, because I just think that is the most brilliant idea. And I have to be reincarnated because I love old English, historical kinds of movies, and I could easily see myself in a tea room. So use your ability to come up with brilliant ideas like this person came up with. This is something that needed to be done here in Wilmington, that will serve, that is a pioneering idea or has not been done, and to problem solve, to remember that your wonderful, brilliant idea is also within the collective, that you're serving the collective. It's not, look at me, look at me. And not every fight that you are invited to do you have to partake in. And if you can sit that ego down and say, this is not how I choose to spend my energy, I'm good. You might save a few mushroom clouds. So that is my In the Skies on the fly April 2026. I hope that you have a wonderful upcoming month, and I hope to see some of you soon. I'll talk to you later.